Hello and welcome to St. Andrew Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. This is online lecture series. I am Rohit Ras from Civil Engineering Department. We are discussing seaways and treatment, and this is 8th lecture in this course. Today we will discuss physical properties of wastewater, which is included in your third unit, that is wastewater quality analysis. Okay, so we'll analyze the properties of wastewater. We have studied different properties are there, that is physical, chemical and biological. Okay, so in our previous lecture we have studied the physical properties like color and odor, and last temperature we have seen. Okay, now today we'll start with turbidity. Okay, basically turbidity is something that gives fade color, or you might have seen some effects due to presence of sand or dirt. Okay, sewage is normally turbid and representing dirtying dishes, water or wastewater from baths having other floating materials like fecal matters, okay, pieces of paper, cigarette ends, matchsticks, grease, vegetable debris, fruit skins, soaps, etc. These all may be present in wastewater like uh, pieces of paper, cigarette ends, matchsticks, greases, vegetable debris, etc. Okay, the turbidity depends on the quantity of solid matter present in suspension state. Okay, means the turbidity depends upon the extent of solids present in the wastewater. Okay, the turbidity depends upon the quantity of solid matter present in the suspension state. Okay, that means it is not dissolved. The turbidity can be determined by the turbidity rod or the turbidity meter, that is neplometer. Okay, we'll see what is turbidity meter. Okay, so this effect, this color, okay, that is produced due to the presence of solids in wastewater. This is the effect is basically turbidity. Okay, uh, in Hindi you can say the matmailapan. Okay, the effect due to presence of solid impurities in the water. Okay, the chemical characteristics. Okay, chemical characteristics of seaways help in indicating the stage of seaways. Okay, we'll learn how to calculate turbidity in detail with an example. Okay, first of all, we are having brief idea about each property, then we'll calculate the turbidity. Okay, with an example. The chemical characteristic of sewage helps in indicating the stage of sewage decomposition. Okay, its strength and extent and type of treatment required for making it safe. Okay, so why do we need to analyze the chemical characteristics? So that we could know the extent of treatment required. Okay, its strength and sewage decomposition. Okay, what is the strength of any sewage or any waste or any organic waste? Basically, this thing you will study in detail in your primary treatment or secondary treatment things. Okay, there basically you will study in secondary treatment, that is the strength of sludge. Okay, basically it resembles the amount or number of particles, that is or micro organisms present in the wastewater that neutralizes the organic waste. So more the microorganisms present, the neutralization process or decomposition process occur faster. Therefore, that is called the strength of waste. Okay. So we need to know the strength and extent of treatment required. Okay, for that we'll analyze the chemical characteristics of sewage. That includes solids. Okay, means how what is the ratio of solid waste in the sewage. Okay, generally solids contain 99.9% of and only 0.1% of total solids present in sewage may be. Okay, only 0.1% solids are present, and that in the form of suspended solids, dissolved solids, colloidal solids, and settlable solids. Okay, they may be present in the form suspended, either they may be suspended, they may be dissolved, they may be colloidal form, and last they may be settled. Okay, suspended solids are those which remain floating in the seaways, means they remain in the upper regions. Okay, they don't get settled. Okay, they are called as suspended solids. Dissolved solids are those which remain dissolved in sewage, just like as salt in water. Okay, means few solids that get dissolved in sewage. Okay, like salt dissolves in water. Colloidal solids are finely divided solid remaining either in solution or suspension. Okay, they may be in uh, solution or suspension. Okay, settlable solids are the solids which settles out if sewage is allowed to remain undisturbed. Means if they are allowed to remain undisturbed, then these particles will settle at the bottom of the container or pipes anywhere. Okay, the proportion of these different types of solid is generally found to be as given below. It has been estimated that about 1000 kg of sewage contains 0.454 kg of total solids. So you can see the percentage. I already told you guys that only 0.1% of wastewater, that is sewage, contains solids. Solid contents are only 0.1% of the wastewater, out of which 0.225 kg in solution, 0.112 kg in suspension, and 0.112 kg in settlable. Okay, it is an approximate value that may be present. It has been estimated by several observations, and they found that on an average 1000 kg of sewage contains 0.45 kg of total solids. That includes 0.112 of suspension and 0.215 in solution and 0.112 in settlable form. Okay, all solids can be organic or inorganic. Okay, they may be organic or inorganic. Okay, about 45% of total solids are organic, and the remaining 55% is inorganic. So we have an approximate proportion, that is 45% of the total solids that is present in sewage are organic, and the remaining 55% is inorganic. Inorganic matter consists of minerals and salts like sand, gravel, dissolved salts, chlorides, sulfates, etc. Now, chemical characteristics includes organic matters. Okay, they consist of carbohydrates like cellulose, cotton, starch, sugar, etc. Then they include fats and oils received from kitchens, garage, etc. Nitrogen compounds like protein and their decomposed products like including waste from animal, urea, fatty acids, they all are nitrogenous compound. Okay, So these organic matters, what we have seen, carbohydrates, which in the form of cellulose, cotton, starch, sugar. Okay. Then fats and oils in the form of fats and oils from kitchens and garage. Okay. Then nitrogen compounds in form of urea, fatty acids. Okay. Waste from animals. Generally, the presence of inorganic solids in sewage is not harmful. Okay. Generally, the wastewater containing inorganic solids are not that harmful, but they can be removed by mechanical units in treatment plants. Yes, they can be removed by mechanical treatment. We'll study them. But the suspended and dissolved organic solids are responsible for creating noisance if disposed of without treatment. Means if water is having suspended and dissolved organic solids, that create noisance. Okay, that create bad environment if disposed without treatment. Means if they are discharged without having proper treatment, then due to the presence of suspended and dissolved organic solids, bad environment arises. Okay, created. The amount of various kinds of solids present in sewage can be determined as follows. They are analyzed with the calculation as total solids, okay, suspended solids, dissolved solids, and colloidals. Okay. So total solids includes, it can be determined by evaporating a known volume of sewage sample and weighing the dry residue left. Means the process for calculating the total solid includes the evaporation of wastewater, okay, and then weighing the leftover. Okay. So the mass of residue divided by the volume of sample, the mass of residue means the remain, the leftovers, is divided by the volume of sample evaporated will give the total solids in milligram per liter. Means the mass of leftover which when divided with the total volume of sample that has evaporated will give the concentration of total solids in the unit milligram per liter. Basically, we'll measure them in milligram per liter. Okay. Second is suspended solids. These are solids which are retained by filter of 1 micropores. Okay, 1 micron, that is micrometer pores. So they are called as non-filterable solids. Means they cannot be easily filtered. Okay. So their quantity can be determined by passing a known volume of sewage through a glass filter and weighing the dry residue left. Mass of the residue divided by the volume of sample. Okay. Means what we'll do, we'll calculate the suspended solids by filtering wastewater using a glass filter. Okay. And the left residue, okay, is weighted, okay, and that weight is divided with the volume of sample that has been filtered using glass filter. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind that glass filter we have to use. Okay, glass filter will be using, and the mass that has been that has left is being divided with the volume of sample to get the concentration of suspended solids in milligram per liter. Okay. Third one is dissolved solids and colloidals. So difference between the suspended solids, that is H1 and NH2, represents the dissolved solids and colloidal solids. Means we know the total solids that can be calculated just by evaporation process. Means we evaporate the wastewater and we measure the weights that has left over there, and will divide the weight or mass of the residue with the volume of sample evaporated. Okay, so this will give total solids. Again, we can calculate the dissolved solid can be calculated using uh, the calculated total solids and suspended solids. Once we are known with these values, then we'll subtract them and we'll get the concentration of dissolved solids. Okay. Suppose the concentration of total solid is S1 and for suspended solid it is S2, then dissolved solid will be, that is S3, will be S1 minus S2, because we'll subtract total solids with suspended solids, then we'll get dissolved solids. Another is volatile and fixed solids. Okay, the suspended solids S2 may be either volatile or fixed. That may be volatile or fixed. To determine the proportion, the non-filtered residue is burnt and ignited at about 550 degrees Celsius in a muffle furnace for about 15 to 20 minutes. What we do, we burn and ignite the solid concentration for 15 to 20 minutes at 550 degrees Celsius. So loss of weight due to ignition will represent the volatile solids, the solid that has been volatile. So how we'll calculate them? We'll just subtract S2, that is suspended solids, with the loss in volatile solids, that is S4. Okay, this will give us the fixed solid, that is S5. Okay, first we'll note the weight that has lost due to volatilization. Okay, that is that can be calculated. What we'll do, we'll just burn and ignite the solids for 20 to 15 minutes at 550 degrees Celsius, and for this we'll be using muffle furnace. Okay, keep this in mind. Muffle furnace will be using for determination of volatile solids. Okay, and the proportion that has left over, the difference of S2 minus S4, will give the fixed solids. Okay, here are a few pictures that will give you more clear idea about the physical properties like turbidity. So here you can note that this is pure clear water. It's slightly turbid, more turbid, and this is highly turbid water. So you can clearly note that turbidity resembles the effects that arises due to the presence of solid particles in them. Okay, it generally changes colors from light to dark. Okay, you can notice this also. These all are example of turbidity samples. Okay, now another important physical property is pH. pH value of the seaways indicates the logarithm of reciprocal of hydrogen ion concentration. We all have, you might have studied in your water supply system. Okay, that is in your, that you have studied in your 5th semester. There we have to calculate, or we have to determine the pH for the drinking water, and there we have to read, or we know that by there from that course that pH is basically measured by the concentration of hydrogen ion, okay, taken as log. Okay, hydrogen ion concentration taken with the log base 10. Okay, so thus it is an indicator of acidity or alkalinity. Okay, whether it is hydrogen ion or hydroxyl ion that will resemble the concentration of acidity or alkalinity. Okay. If the pH value is less than 7, the seaways is acidic. We all know the boundary that that decides whether this solution is acidic or basic. That is 7. Above 7, the sample is basic, and below 7, the sample is acidic. Okay. Similarly, here in this case also, that is for seaways, if the pH is less than 7, then this seaways is acidic, and if it is higher than 7, then it is alkaline. The fresh seaways is basically alkaline, and with passage of time, pH tends to fall due to production of acids. Okay, and how acids are produced? With the action of bacteria in anaerobic or nitrification process. Okay, so initially what happens, that seaways is alkaline. Okay, means its pH is higher, slightly higher than 7, but with the action of bacteria in anaerobic decomposition. Okay, we already studied what is anaerobic and aerobic decomposition. So due to action of bacteria in anaerobic decomposition, they produce acids, and that leads the seaways to towards acidic. Okay, one reason for this may be that that is nitrification process. Okay, nitrification process also produces acids, and that could tend the solution towards acidic. Okay. However, the treatment of seaways, the pH tends to rise, and once we start the treatment, the pH will again rise. Okay. The determination of pH is important because efficiency of certain treatment methods depends on it. Okay, means we have to calculate the concentration of hydroxyl ion or hydrogen ion, as because application of certain treatment methods is affected or hindered with their concentration. So we have to determine the pH so that we can apply the suitable method. Okay, especially the biological treatments that we'll study okay in detail. Biological treatments for better results of pH, sewage should be around 7 in biological treatments, and for better results in biological treatment, that is decomposition with bacteria, that may include trickling filters, rotating biological filters, oxidation pond, oxidation ditch. These all are biological treatments, and they require pH around 7 for better results. Okay. So in biological treatment, as microorganisms can flourish in pH range. This is why, because microorganisms can multiply easily in that situation. We also know that for biological treatment, the temperature should be around 20 degrees so that the microorganisms can survive easily. Okay. pH can be determined using pH meter, that is potentiometer. Okay, so we have a instrument for measuring pH of water sample. It is present in your laboratory. Okay, so you can easily determine the pH by just inserting a rod, pH rod, into the sample and let it for a few hours, and then you can easily calculate the pH of that sample. Okay, and that instrument, that particular instrument that is used to determine the pH is potentiometer. So we have a pH scale over here. Okay, and we'll try to understand that different waste or different contaminants present in wastewater and their pH. Okay, so first we'll see battery acid that is of pH 0, sulfuric acid that is pH 1, lemon juice and vinegar has pH of 2. So you can understand clearly that these battery acids are most acidic, okay, because it is least in pH, okay. Sulfuric acid is 1, pH is 2 for lemon juice and pH is 3 for orange juice. Now pH is 4 for acid rain or acidic lakes, okay. Banana has pH of 5, clean rain also has pH of 5, milk has pH of 6.5 to 6.8, pure water has pH of 7, sea water pH of 8, that is alkaline, okay. So sea water is alkaline. Again, eggs also have pH of 8, baking soda has pH of 9, that is basic, okay. Milk of magnesia, that is basic, and pH of 10. You might have heard that during acidity we use sometimes milk of magnesia. This is only because it is basic in nature and we are suffering from acidity, okay. So you need to know this, that milk of magnesia has pH of 10, ammonia pH of 11, soapy water pH 12, and bleach pH 13, and liquid drain cleaner pH 14. And what is neutral pH? That is here, pure water, okay. Less than 7, all is acidic, and greater than 7, all is basic. Now just try to understand this diagram. It is very important. You must have idea about the calculation of pH, but try to remember this. The H plus concentration, okay, how it is affected and how we calculate the pH using the H plus concentration, okay. So you can clearly see that for the concentration of H plus, as it is decreasing, as the value on the pH scale is increasing, the concentration is decreasing. It is 1 by 10, it is 1 by 1000, it is 1 by 10 to the power 6, that is 10 raised to power 6, 1 by 10 raised to power 9, and 1 by 10 raised to power 12. So obviously the concentration of H plus is decreasing while there is increase in pH scale. And similarly, the concentration of OH minus, that is hydroxyl ion, is increasing here, okay. It is earlier, it is 10 to the power minus 13, and 10 to the power minus 11, 10 to the power minus 8, 10 to the power minus 5, 10 to the power minus 2. So this is highest concentration of OH. Means in pH scale, if the value is higher, then concentration of hydrogen ion is less and hydroxyl ion is higher in concentration, okay. And vice versa for hydroxyl ion, that is OH minus. Also you have to keep this in mind, that you might have noted, or you should note this, that the sum of these, okay, sum of these concentration, okay, this will be in total, okay. If we'll calculate that pH, that is calculated on the basis of minus log base 10 H plus concentration, okay, you will calculate and you will find that the sum total of these concentration will become 14. Suppose if we'll calculate, if we know the concentration of H plus, then we are able to find the concentration of OH minus also, okay. We will solve examples on it, okay. Now again, nitrogen content. The presence of nitrogen in sewage is an indication, for the presence of organic matter. Basically, I'm telling this again and again. Basically, organic compounds consist nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, okay, sulfur. So these compounds contain nitrogen. Containing nitrogen indicates that presence of organic matters. Okay. So now in wastewater, there are four uh, forms of nitrogen. Basically, four forms of nitrogen are present. And nitrogen is present in four forms in wastewater, that are free ammonia, that is called ammonia nitrogen. Okay. Second is organic nitrogen. Third is nitrites. Fourth is nitrates. Okay, we'll study each of them in detail in coming lecture. Till then, thank you for listening. Feel free to ask any doubt. Okay, you can text, WhatsApp, or you can just email using this mail ID. Thank you.